right. Now that I said all
three,
that incriminating stuff, let me hit record.
3, 2.
And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get
Zeitgeist Zealots. Everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
And I'm Robbie. Like, what was that pause?
Did you forget his name?
Well, I got stuck. I had a brain fart because I was like, should I introduce the Zeitgeist Acolytes?
Ooh.
I better not. And then I forgot to say I'm Forrest.
The Zeitgeist
but yeah, we saw the
Acolytes.
Acolyte, this Kathleen Kennedy Acolytes.
No, I am no acolyte of Kathleen Kennedy. Did you hear this book about her? Oh, by the way, we're a podcast. We talk about pop culture, so everything you really care about. We're going to address here today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast here. Do me a favor. Go ahead just on goodwill, because we all love each other. Hit that like button. And then whenever you hate us, then you go switch it to a thumbs down. Sound good? Because we're going to talk about a lot today. We're talking about Facebook selling your data. We're talking about Kathleen Kennedy blowback, Stellar Blade maybe, some Furiosa fun facts. I don't know. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more. But Kathleen Kennedy, I am no acolyte of. Did you hear that? She just, like, before the Acolyte even premiered, we're going to go over episodes 1 and 2 of the Acolyte today on the podcast. Before the episodes even dropped, they were already blaming the fans, specifically the men.
They were just ready to...
They knew it was going to suck. And, look, I'm not sure if you guys heard the spoilers for episodes 3 and...
already? Or why were they already? I
Yeah,
didn't hear
so first off, the review embargo was the same day, right? You had like 12 hours before all the fancy posh people.
Good.
It's a terrible sign, right? It's a terrible sign. They got 12 hours. I mean, it is not good. The Rolling Stones ripped it to shreds, and so are we.
I think IGN. I think the only one I saw was like IGN gave it like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean
it's pretty bad.
Rotten Tomatoes. There are some fanboys.
I just started typing in Rotten Tomatoes, and like one of the first suggestions was about Acolyte.
Yep, that's what people are talking about today.
I think I saw the audience score was like
94% by the critics, 41 from the audience.
Dude, the shilling is ridiculous.
I just can't really trust the critic reviews anymore.
Please note.
What does IMDb say? Does IMDb have a score up yet? I think I saw it was like 6 point something on. I trust IMDb a lot more than I do Rotten. I mean, audience score is usually a pretty good indicator, but.
Matt, what would you rate this? We're gonna get no. Don't trick us into talking about the Acolyte. We have a lot more news to go over. In fact, did you guys know Facebook was selling your data to Netflix? And when I say selling your data, I'm not talking about Netflix wants to know what your profile picture looks like. I'm talking about your private messages, right? Allegedly, I should say allegedly, according to the law firm of Klein and Grabert, that for over a decade, starting in 2011, Netflix and Facebook has been sharing data and selling each other's data to users' data to each other. Why does Netflix want to know what I'm messaging people about on Facebook? How does a meme translate into watch this TV show? But I mean, like, dude, we were gaslit for years. We were like, is our phone listening to us? Like, what is happening here? I was just messaging Robbie about Game of Thrones, and then I come home, and then boom, Game of Thrones
ads just talking about something.
Exactly. And it's like, damn, dude, like, I mean, we all knew what was happening, but now it's like, now it's in a court of law. Absolute horseshit.
I heard stuff about like some giving out data just to like train their AIs and stuff.
Yeah,
I believe that. Look, I'm no.
Well, how many times do you have to reject cookies every time you go on a website?
Dude, like 1,000 times.
And I'm pretty sure like every now and then you gotta hit like accept cookies, maybe by accident, or you just because sometimes they'll say like accept cookies or adjust cookie settings. They won't even have a reject setting. And because they know people just hit accept rather than just like go through the hassle of adjusting it to not. So I mean,
yeah, there isn't a decline button. You got to go through all that.
I think Zuck's when he goes before Congress is going to be like, well, we gave them the option to reject it. They just had to like go through 48 pages and agree to 3 different forms, or they could just hit accept button.
They just hit the accept button.
Making it easy.
No. But when I go through, when I do, because I now I go through every single time, as annoying as it is to manually select like the cookies, and then every once in a while I'll see a website that has just necessary cookies turned on, and all like the marketing and all the other cookies are turned off, and I'm like, based, pretty cool. All right, I'm not gonna like turn anything on, but like, I appreciate you like off the bat not trying to like sneakily sell my data. Like I appreciate that's not like your main revenue flow. You know what else
Or
is
what if you hit accept? They're just all
yeah.
set to on.
How do you go back?
Unless you hit settings and they're like, oh no, it's just these ones.
Oh no.
Yeah, we have to go back.
Or if you're just
for like, IMDb rating, they're saying 6.5.
Yeah.
Going back
to that. I figured.
Which is interesting because both of the episodes had a rating of 6.7.
Or just
episode 1 6.5, 2 6.4.
It's dropped.
6.5.
Oh, it's dropping.
Yeah, they're all
like. What's about the show as a whole?
I don't see. I see it by episode.
Oh, okay. So if you like go to the actual website.
Yeah, I'm on IMDb's website. It looks like you have to. They're rated per episode. I'm not seeing it overall.
All right. Well, go ahead and hop off that website because I don't want any cheating for this next little bit here, guys. We're gonna talk a little bit about Mad Max Furiosa. What a crash and burn! The worst opening for any Memorial Day, excluding COVID, since when? Do you think? You guys have any guesses? What was the last?
Like how many years?
Since Fury Road?
I'll tell you, it's been several decades since a movie has bombed
it's almost
this hard on Memorial Day weekend. Do you want to know what
something in the 80s?
Not quite.
Say this.
How many decades we're talking?
90, in the mid 90s.
Cutthroat Island, 1995.
Ooh,
that's like the biggest flop of all time. Yeah.
But was it on Memorial Day weekend?
I don't remember if it was Thanksgiving.
Because like every Marvel movie's come out like the first weekend of May, and Memorial Day weekend's like the third weekend or the fourth weekend of May. So like I don't recall any movie come out Memorial Day weekend. Maybe Independence Day, which I assume would come out on July 4th, but they want to get the movie out there early in the summer so it has traction throughout the actual summer months. When did Independence Day come out? I'm way more interested in that than Furiosa. And well, I mean, I think, and also like they waited like way too long. Well, they should have just done a sequel to Mad Max to begin with, because that was a huge hit. And George Miller waited like, it's been, almost 9 years since Fury Road came out?
Too long. It's been.
Which is like way too long to release any sort of sequel or prequel.
And it's a Mad Max movie without Mad Max. Like, look, I'm a dad. All right, I was going to save this little rant for later on in the episode, but I'm a dad. I am all about girl bosses and female empowerment, you know, to a logical extent, right? You know, I'm not gonna tell my daughter she can beat up a man. That's not how science works. That's dumb. Anyway, what were we saying?
Mad Max. Just had a sequel.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. I'm just so tired of the girl bosses being bad. Like, if it was awesome, go for it. That'd be cool. But it's just shoved down your throat in every single movie.
Well, I'm just
amazing.
Like Mad Max Fury Road to begin. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I just thought
it was stupid.
Like,
it was.
I had no interest in Furiosa's story, and you know, Chris Hemsworth, I don't really care. I hated the last. Yeah.
And it's so dumb. Like anyway. Mad Max Fury Road was about what the big white guy, the big guy with white doing white face. The whole thing was he was very particular about his brides, and so now this is a prequel, and he loses Furiosa for like 10 years. Like, it doesn't, like, canonically, it doesn't even like fit the character. It doesn't even make sense because like she was.
Well, I haven't seen it.
She was like a baby bride.
I mean, it's apparently getting good reviews though, right?
Yeah, I mean
making their money.
Oh, I'll tell you this: the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic both like it. So I mean, those are probably two of the most critical, pun intended, non intended, whatever, the most critical
movie
they
critics.
Hate everything. Yeah,
So
yes, they do.
It's,
So
7.9 on IMDb with a 79%.
It seems like it's pretty good. It's just like not making any money. It's
not
just
make,
like the audience.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you make a Mad Max movie without Mad Max.
And yet made a Barbie movie.
How was the advertisements on it? Because I actually didn't even know much about it until it was almost out.
It was pretty much identical to Mad Max Fury Road's advertisements. I mean, it pretty much is. It's obviously set in the same world, but I think they were trying to get the people who like that movie. But like I said, it's been 9 years. That audience is either forgotten, and the crazy part too.
Just 2 quick points. The crazy part too is sitting in the theater and watching that trailer. It looked so fake compared to the movie that was brought out 9 years ago. So right away it felt cheap.
Yes.
2, if we want to look at another prequel to something with a properly done strong female cast, I look to what's coming out later on this month once again, but House of the Dragon.
Oh.
I feel that's a proper way. You have 2 really strong female leads. One is kind of in a fight with another male lead. But I think very well done, very compelling. Versus this, which is like, look at me, I'm a badass. Well, why are you a badass? Because I say I'm a badass.
Well, it's just like, it's interesting because like Barbie makes over $1 billion, and we have a girl who's sort of the protagonist is very materialistic. It
was authentic, right? I think it was authentic, or maybe it was just propaganda between Barbie and Oppenheimer. Don't forget Barbenheimer, right? There was a big phenomenon called Barbenheimer.
Why did Barbie make all this money and Furiosa did not? So that's like, it's interesting, like where people.
Because that's what I was saying. Because Barbie is a Barbie property, and Barbie was in a Barbie property movie. Mad Max is nowhere to be found in this Mad Max movie. I think that's probably an issue, right? If Mad Max
he doesn't make a cameo.
I mean,
because he's like the same age as Furiosa.
He's not. He's not in the trailer. If he's not in the trailer, and I haven't heard about it in the reviews, then look, I think he might. I think I listened to one review and they said he showed up, or a character who's supposed to be him shows up or whatever. I don't know. Speaking of showing up, ladies and gentlemen,
I have no idea.
tippers.
I think these new movies don't take place in the same world as the trilogy with Mel Gibson. It's like a separate universe, I'm guessing.
No, I don't think so. No, I think it's all the same universe.
Mad Matt can tell us.
Well, you know what? I feel like it's heavily implied in the original Mad Max series that it's really just Australia.
Yes, it is.
And it's a post-apocalypse Earth, whereas Mad Max Fury Road seems to be like almost set on an alien planet with the way it's kind of dealt with, like with the weird cliffs that spew water.
Well, it's interesting because the first Mad Max movie, it's like it's supposed to be set in like a near future, but it's not quite the post-apocalypse. It's kind of just like he's like a semi-futuristic cop, and he's taking down a motorcycle gang, but society's still more or less intact. But then by the Road Warrior, pretty much society has collapsed, and they've gone full post-apocalypse. So I'm just like wondering if this Furiosa movie obviously takes place in the post-apocalypse.
Yeah.
So Max would be a full adult because he was a full adult when Road Warrior happened. But it's like these things are just like, I'm probably just overthinking it, and I don't even know if he's in the movie or not. I just have to watch it. But I don't think I've seen anything Anya Taylor-Joy's been in, so I haven't seen any Mutants. I saw Dune Part 2, but he's only in it for like a minute.
just one little flash forward.
So
another movie with a female lead who you feel very artificial about too. I'm sorry, I cannot take Zendaya seriously.
No.
But hey, go over to Netflix, watch Glow, watch Orange is the New Black. They have a ton of great series. BBC or
Glow is great.
These are all like TV shows. But it's like, are there any movies?
I'm trying to think of movies at the top of my head, and all I'm coming up with was TV shows.
Alien.
Like Wonder Woman.
There's so many. There's so many good 80s and 90s movies where the female. Thank you. Yes, Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor, yeah.
Men love a strong, sexy Clarice. Shut the fuck up. No, Clarice sucked ass. I'm sorry. There's my hot take. She was, her and her backwater West Virginia accent, the absolute, the best thing that's ever happened to Silence of the Lambs is that 5 seconds that Family Guy made fun of it.
Way better than Alien 3, though, Silence of the Lambs. Oh. Although the alien does go.
Yeah, and then he wants some lima beans and a nice Contier.
I would say Silence of the Lambs is even better than Aliens by James Cameron. But that was still a good movie, though. I
You know
like
what's
both
not
of them,
good?
but I mean,
The
it's just a
sequels
better movie,
and then
too.
the prequel, Red Dragon. Right, Red Dragon didn't perform very well. It was a prequel to Hannibal
you
Lecter
know-
without
Do you
Hannibal
know who
Lecter.
the first actor to play Hannibal Lecter is?
Your mom? The way she eats that.
The guy from Succession.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they made they made an adaptation of Red Dragon before Silence of the Lambs called not Mindhunter, but Manhunter. With the guy from CSI and Brian Cox, Hannibal Lecter in that one. So yeah, it's like from the 80s.
No, I had no
So they
idea.
call it Red Dragon. But yeah, you're right. Hannibal and Red Dragon. I don't think I saw them all the way through, but
So anyway,
yeah,
we love.
they all have Tony Hopkins, but yeah,
We're
I think
probably
Manhunter. I think is the better Red Dragon adaptation, maybe.
Well,
They're
nothing's
both weird.
Yeah, they're not great. The tattoos are cool. We're probably going to say some stuff on this podcast reviewing the Acolyte that is going to be misconstrued for
if the people
sexism.
who like Doctor Who are watching this episode, yeah, they're probably not going to agree.
Well, maybe they will, because I have a terrible confession to make, guys. I have fallen trap to the woke agenda. Walking in, hating everything I was hearing about Doctor Who. I've got no history with the canon, right? But I'm here with my brothers from Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, all the nerd culture. I mean, Aragorn's black now, right? So yeah, I'm ready. I'm marching with you guys to hate online together at how DEI and BlackRock's agenda has taken over all of our culture and everything we love. But guys, I gotta tell you what, it's kind of really good. I've actually been really enjoying just all of it. And like, I walked in, I wanted to hate this show, and it started off with like something stupid, like Space Babies, where like these space babies are like acting like real grown as adults. It was like Boss Baby, like with
We're on Doctor Who. We're on Doctor Who right now.
We're on Doctor Who right now, right? With Alec Baldwin.
Oh, the Acolyte. Okay.
Yeah, with it's like Boss Baby
Spacing out.
with Acolyte. No, not the Acolyte. With Alec Baldwin, who is not an Acolyte. Apparently, he uses weapons. Oh, that's a Rust reference.
Which probably won't be coming out anytime soon.
God.
Yeah, the Acolyte, episode 1. Overall thoughts.
Oh,
Start with
okay.
Robbie.
Anyway, I really like Doctor
Acolyte.
Who. We'll move on.
Did you even watch the Acolyte, Rob?
I watched the first episode. Yeah.
What'd you think? And watch the second one? Or just not excited? Don't care.
Oh,
If I
Casper.
wasn't on the podcast, I don't know.
Casper. I would watch
okay,
it.
all
I'd
right,
be
so
really
I'm
willing
guessing
to
I
watch
guessing
it.
you didn't like it. Okay, then.
No.
We're not going to force you to watch it. Yeah, I'm guessing you weren't really enamored with
Well, I just finished the first episode, like as we were starting the podcast.
And you're not
so
dying to watch
I
the
didn't
second
have
one?
time to watch the second one.
Yeah, because it came out at
first
9 last
episode,
night.
Carrie-Anne Moss was like, when she got cast, she's like, yes, finally Star Wars. And they're like, we're going to kill you in the first 10 minutes. So,
Yeah,
once
and
again,
it's going to be embarrassing death too. Oh look, there's a excellent article by the CIA. I'm sorry, the New York Times, talking about Star Wars and the Acolyte, where they interviewed Leslie Headland, to which she talks about the pitch meeting with Kennedy, right? Then when Kathleen Kennedy, the alleged pitch meeting where Kathleen Kennedy cried or whatever. Kennedy told her that she, quote, "You've written a great Star Wars show." Kennedy told her in 2019 in response to early scripts, "Now go write a Leslie Headland show." My question to you guys is, can we have the first script back, please? This is awful.
So, all I know about the showrunner is that apparently she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant.
Personal assistant. Harvey Weinstein with
How
over
long?
80 essay assaults. Obviously not her full employment, right? But she did work for the man for quite some time. A lot of theories online is that they gave her this show as a way to say thank you for not rolling over on everyone else, because she was like in charge of like she made all the appointments.
Really?
She was the personal assistant.
What-
Harvey
what
Weinstein
was
doesn't
the-
have a personal assistant and then going around making scheduling his
who married-
appointments.
know he married his first personal assistant, right? He married his first personal assistant. Right?
No, I didn't.
That was
Is
his first
that?
wife, yeah.
That's not worse than marrying your first cousin. Here's to you, Rudy
I mean,
Giuliani.
Wait, he
hopefully
married
they
his BlackBerry?
He
Ah!
he married his first personal assistant. Yeah, I mean,
so well, I mean, can you
obviously,
blame him at
yeah.
this point? Oh no, I was about to get canceled for that. I was gonna be like, I mean, the Little Office romance worked well for him the
So I'm
first time,
guessing-
but
yeah,
that's
so it's just
awful.
like,
What he
what-
did was
what was-
terrible. I did not. That was just a joke. I was not condoning
What
that.
else has she written besides this? Is this like her first?
She has a
like,
Broadway.
Power Guide?
She has a play called Cult of Love, which is about 4 family members in a deeply Christian family who go off and live their lives and then come back home for Thanksgiving. And this play is a bottle episode of them returning for Thanksgiving. And
Well,
I don't know what it's about, but the content warning says homophobia. So I would imagine it's probably cope. It's
well,
probably
it seems
just
like a
her
lot of
life.
blowback for this show before it even came out wasn't even so much like the fact that it has like female protagonist or
Who cares?
you know, a lot of people of color in it, but the fact that like they just didn't like that Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant was a showrunner,
I didn't.
and
How?
that she was somewhat liable, or
Yeah,
like
we locked up Ghislaine Maxwell. Not enough, in my opinion. But I mean, even
people thought she was a Ghislaine Maxwell, but I don't know. I didn't like research her at all before watching this show. So like all I knew was that she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. I'm just like, okay, I guess she didn't commit any crimes. She was just working for a criminal. So
I mean, if you were Pablo Escobar's personal assistant,
but
you
my issues
probably
with the
committed
show-
some crimes.
But my issues with the show have nothing to do with what the former occupation of
No?
the showrunner or
Oh.
who's in it. It's just the writing. Is
What if I told you
dull?
it's awful? What if I told you that in an interview she was asked what color lightsaber she'd have, and she instantly responded with red? Isn't that a little sus?
Well,
Like-
Sith Lord confirmed.
She
Yeah.
wants to be a Sith Lord. And if you look at this New York Times CIA Star Wars Acolyte article, you'll see like there's a big picture of her just spread out, and it's almost as dark as you know, that infamous episode of Game of Thrones in that final season. Like it's dark, it's creepy. And then she's like, my favorite thing is the red. I want to have a red lightsaber. And then they asked her one more thing. They asked her about lightsaber choices for the characters. You know, because there's 7 lightsaber colors, and they all mean something. They all have some.
there used to be 3,
There are 7. There are 7 lightsaber
and then there were
styles,
3 until Samuel L. Jackson insisted having a purple one.
which was cool.
And then I think in the video games they had like an orange one, and
Mhm.
everyone like was going
and
insane.
orange and a yellow. They have a bunch of others, but she didn't pick the lightsaber colors based on the Jedi, based on their mantras or their personal beliefs. She picked the lightsaber colors based on what she thought would look best in the scene aesthetically.
Well, at least you didn't
So
like
can we-
like
can we-
Cape.
Can we speak on that overall?
Absolutely,
Just
Matt.
it's obvious that choices were made that don't add to scenes, and I will say one of the biggest complaints I have, you can tell where I'm coming from, how I feel about this show, was the cinematography is atrocious. The CGI is atrocious. There's one scene where is it Mai is her character name? She's standing out in the open, and it looks like she's standing in front of a green screen. It looks so fake. The sets look very sanitized, and when they pan, they like every character has a purpose for being right here, right now, but not a purpose to the actual scene.
The makeup
love-
looks cheap too.
Yeah, I do love the callback to you know, how they scroll out of scenes. Cool, you call them back to the old Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But the makeup is the worst, and I forget the Jedi Master's name, the green one.
Oh yeah,
It's like you could see that it's it's like
Painted
like
on.
painted on.
Yaddle-
Whenever she talks, you
Yaddle
can
got
see how
really
it's painted
tall.
on.
Yaddle got so tall.
But you know, it just overall, everything looks bad.
The
It
CGI
looks cheap. It looks forced.
It's
the CGI is
100.
bad.
No pun intended.
million. This, like, I was talking about it being a scam beforehand, but like this is a scam, right? There's not even lightsabers. I was like, maybe they ran out of lightsaber money and they have to just do these terrible duels.
They grab it instead of But finally, to your point, Major, the darkness at times when they don't want to, like,
emphasize the graphics,
show the full scene. Consistently, the shots are way too dark, and it comes at the most random points. You can tell it's almost as if they're like, we don't have the money to like film this kind of scene, so let's just make it really, really dark, and it'll be up close, and the camera angles are up close, and almost too uncomfortably close, just so they don't have to like that. And they make the fights, dude. How many cuts do they make during each fight scene?
The
amount of cuts is like taken to level. It just overall
for no physical
shot
cuts,
shot,
a lot of cuts.
It fails shot for shot. So cinematography is atrocious. The sound is awesome.
Sound design's good.
The sound design, the sound effects, the soundtrack, awesome.
Positives real quick. I mean, the only, I think, saving grace of this show is the guy from Squid Game. He's like the only likable character.
And
it's probably, it's not even the writing. I think it's just his acting and the fact that English isn't even his first language.
Did you know he learned
really
English? He learned English for this show.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean,
well,
a South Korean actor who pretty much like worked in South Korean projects.
I don't like.
So I figured like he would have to learn English for the show, but you don't like him?
No, I'm not saying I don't like him, but like once you know that he didn't.
I don't like love the character, but like of all the characters, he's
the best one. Yes, he is
the least unlikable.
Yeah, he is the lightest turd that has floated to the top of this toilet here that we were calling the Acolyte. But now that you know he didn't speak English 2 years ago, right? Or not he learned English for the show.
Oh, just 2 years ago?
I don't know. Whenever the show started getting recorded. 3 years ago, after Squid Games, how long has it been since COVID, right? So, like, 3 years. Look, when he talks about revenge, he hasn't been saying the word revenge his entire life. That's what I'm saying is it's very impressive, and it's amazing that he learned English. It's such a hard language. But what I thought originally was, like, thoughtfulness of the character as a Jedi master, right? It's just maybe like once you know that like he's just learned English a couple years ago, he sounds like he's more like stumbling over his words and his lines than he does sound like an affluent.
He's been speaking English over the years, but his role in the Acolyte challenged him to push his English skills even further.
I read an article that he learned English. I don't know. That's just what I read.
Knowing that, one of my friends made a comment, and I completely agree with it. He has an excuse for this. But do you guys feel that almost every single character, and I don't know if this is a director's choice, feels stiff and forced?
Yes.
Because like even the Padawan, like her lines, like they're kind of like forced dialogue.
The one
and they're
with
very stiff in their acting.
The giant ears, or the one with the white face?
Both of them.
The white face.
The giant ears. One. I want to say the giant ears will probably be like, dude, we're trying to get furries out of our schools, and then they introduce this character. Mark my words, this will be the #1 Halloween costume. There are going to be so many Star Wars furries next year.
For the white one?
For girls. Well, they're not dressed up as Wolverine and Deadpool. They might pull out their Barbie Halloween costumes from last year, but there's nothing else coming out. Garfield? Yeah, good luck with that. Lizzo. South Park, coming out soon.
But all the lines, I feel, are delivered in this manner, and I get the Jedi's talking like this because of the arrogance and everything, but every character has this,
Yeah, bring back Wanda Sykes.
It's very monotonous, and it's very forced. And even like when they're like, "Oh, you're under arrest,"
Yeah, it
feels so forced.
Can you blame that the dialogue feels bad and clunky? Because it is bad and clunky. It's a huge everything's a huge exposition dump. But this whole story is terrible. It was sold to us as a murder mystery. It's like, we don't know.
We know.
Who
well,
we don't
find out
know
the killer
who
is-
kills all of these Jedis. Who's killing all these Jedis?
Well, it's
Spoiler
a
alert.
murder, it's a murder
They
mystery.
reveal
written-
it in the first episode.
The first like
murder
10
mystery-
minutes.
It's a murder mystery by someone who doesn't know how to write murder mysteries, basically, or what they think is a murder mystery.
No, I'll tell you this. This actually feels like this feels like someone who's was written by someone who's never watched TV before, but was told what TV is like, and he was like, "Oh, is that what TV is like?" By M. Night Shyamalan, like has someone who's only like they were told by someone who's only watched M. Night Shyamalan movies, and they're like, "Oh, is
There
that?"
has to be a twist. It doesn't matter how complicated or unconvincing.
They instantly reveal the twin. What were you saying, Matt?
So I was gonna say, Major, you hit it the nail right on the head with this. Is everything's an exposition jump, and I consistently harp on show, don't tell, and all the dialogue is, well, you see this, that, and the other thing, this, that, and the other thing, this, that, and the other thing to tie the story together. It's like, no, show, have a flashback. Even if that's like a cheap flashback. Like, I thought she was gonna see her village burning, and her family, this, that, and the other thing, kind of like they did in Rogue One. But they didn't do that. She tells them this, and then Master Saul is like, "I saw her die," and then this, that, and the other thing. It's the dialogue is all about telling and not showing.
It's so bad. Like real fast, Master Soul, right? He's like, I don't believe that OSHA committed this crime, and he's also aware of the bartender who gave eyewitness testimony that a person who looked like OSHA committed the crime, and then less than a minute later in the episode, someone's like, is the twin sister alive? And he's like, no, I saw her die. He's like, the final. Like,
how do you see
none of this evidence.
Nope, that's impossible.
I don't believe this twin sister A killed this person, but we have eyewitness that someone who looks like twin sister A, maybe twin sister B, right? It's so fucking dumb. It's so poorly written.
Back to like it's a murder mystery by someone who doesn't know how to write murder mysteries. Like she should have had like an airtight alibi. Like I think like when her coworker, or like there would have been like surveillance on the ship to show that she had snuck off.
The writing.
Well, so there was there was that point of dialogue where the guy comes up to her and says, "So where were you last night?" And she's like, "Well, I don't have to tell you. I snuck out." So they kind of like hint like, "Oh, maybe you don't know."
But why?
Instantly they shut that down.
Why are they even hinting that, Matt? Because I was going to talk about why are they even hinting that? We as the audience, if we're not online habitually running a podcast or reading articles or sending fucking text messages back and forth about this show, as someone who this show was, Leslie Headland specifically said that you don't need to do any homework. You can just walk into this show brand spanking new and enjoy it. So as someone who doesn't know that there's like all these twists coming, why are they reinforcing the twist right now? Right? Like we don't know that there's a twist of twins, right? We think the person with the unique hairstyle we just saw in the first scene is the same girl in the second scene. And then he's like, where were you last night? And it's like, it's not your business.
It's really hard to frame someone for a crime when you're not trying to frame someone for a crime. Like her sister had no intention of framing her sister. She just wanted to kill that Jedi. So like,
that's what I didn't understand either.
Yeah, we have no idea where is in relation to her ship, OSHA's ship, not May's.
The Federation, but the thing is, the twin neither twin knows the other twin exists.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because in the second episode, she's like, you are alive.
And they had no idea.
Then what's the whole point of like, so was she trying to frame her? Like, what's going on here? This is so dumb.
So dumb.
And outside writing, how about the physics of like the fires in space?
Oh my!
Fires in space, and hey, don't forget the lightsaber flashlight.
The light. So we'll talk about. All right. So fire in space, guys. Let's talk about it real fast. This actually. So really, we love the explosions in Star Wars.
Another one.
Look, the Death Star exploded. That was so cool. That's iconic. It's one of the most iconic scenes in cinematic history. It's more iconic than Flash breaking the Time Force. I'll tell you that right now, right? But again, huge explosion. Why? There's no oxygen in space, and I know from first grade you need 3 things for a fire. But this actually isn't the first time we've seen real fire on a ship in space, right? And that
Well,
is
this time
the Phantom-
argue.
the Phantom
Like
Menace.
the focus of the scene.
Okay,
that
hold on.
fire.
I think you can somewhat argue the Death Star has its own atmosphere within it, and so it exploding, there is enough oxygen to supply the
All that
brief
oxygen
explosion,
inside it, yeah.
but all the inside oxygen. But that's why it fades out so quickly. So it goes into this big circle, and
This
then
is
it
just
fades
straight
out.
up
It loses
outside
oxygen.
the ship. In
This is
space,
a this
There's
is
a
a Boy
fire,
Scout
so-
campfire going on outside here.
And not that I agree with it, but like at least there's like this plausible deniability. This is literally a fire outside in space in a vacuum.
Did they lightly put in like firewood crackling in there too on the set?
Probably. I mean, the sound
I
design
thought
was
it
so
might have-
good. Dude? What about these? She's a mech neck, right? Dude? That's so similar to Mintac.
No,
It's not even
or
funny.
Tech Mech or Tech Deck or Tech Deck.
No,
right?
she's a mech. A mech neck is a mech neck is someone who read the book Dune 20 years ago and is trying to say Mintax while they're drinking. Look, we can have these mech necks, and they can just they're the ones who can go on the ship. Mechanic, maybe. All right, comment down below. What do you think? Are they?
Engineer.
All right, I was trying to give the writers a little benefit.
Star Wars.
Mech
Okay.
neck. Mech neck
Right?
sounds like
Mech neck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like a roughneck.
Like
I
a-
thought it was a playoff.
like a-
Roughneck.
like a tauntaun. Oh, a roughneck.
Like
See,
a person-
she was-
no,
I was
she
thinking
left-
Mintax. I was thinking
person who works
Mintax.
on-
Well, she
So a
left the
person who
Jedi
works
Order
on an
6
oil
years
rig.
ago.
Yeah, a roughneck, right?
Yeah.
In Texas, they
But
work on the oil rigs. That's
Min-
what I got.
Mintax
Roughneck.
are the humans in space and Dune
No, I got
travel.
that too.
Yeah, I know you know that.
Uh,
I've been here for all the podcast. I know how much you know Dune. I'm just I'm letting the audience know through you as the introduction
I also
character.
like how the Federation representative, they're like quoting, "Oh, mechnucks can't do outside, work. Of course we don't do that." And it's like, actually we do, but hey, you're not gonna charge us for it anyways. It's just kind of like these
Were y'all glad?
throwaway lines.
Dude,
Well, so there's a ton of these throwaway lines that you're like, let's pursue that. Let's pursue it.
Let's talk a little more.
It's just said to be said.
do you want to know about a throwaway line? You want to be pursued a little bit more? How about in an interview with The Wrap, Leslie Headland, our favorite director, said that RTD2 was a lesbian droid. Why? Wouldn't they be the non-binary? I'm sorry, I don't understand anything. Comment, educate me down below.
That doesn't
But
really
That's like
make
one of the
sense.
major.
wouldn't the androids?
No.
Just to provoke people. It's just
It's
provoke
been
people.
established. 100%. It's been established. Han Solo. So Solo, the movie.
Yeah, he fucked that droid.
By
He fucked
whatever
that droid.
his name is. No, yeah, the droid, the female droid, has feelings for him. So I get that there's this constant idea of like our droids is it's a Turing test.
Wait,
you know,
was
is
R2D2
AI in the Star Wars?
Was R2D2 and C3PO? They bickered so much. Were they married? Were they just like a married couple?
100%. 100%. And
Yeah, I thought they were just smoking a joint on the way down to Tatooine, but they were getting married on that first episode.
R2D2 was always having sex with computers in the Death Star. Did you see?
Oh, oh yeah, and then he'll be like, my. Yeah, that sounds exactly like my wife. I. No, wait, that's Power Rangers. What does C3PO
You're
say?
thinking Alpha.
Yeah, I was thinking of Alpha.
Whistles, yeah.
Never. I'm like,
so-
are we gonna have sex tonight? She's like, probably not. I'm like, never tell me the odds.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you think of the jailbreak?
No, man, no.
But just like, hey, do you want in on their breakout?
It
And
is
then
so.
they leave her to die.
But how
Yeah.
everybody's able to like get out so easily.
Yeah,
you would think that a
Yeah,
you know
they apparently should have restrained his head tentacle. They obviously know about his head
Yeah.
tentacle.
they have computer guy who's able to like wirelessly hack into the droids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, should they have?
they had no
done our
protection
research-
on that guy.
Yeah. So wait,
put
we're
it like,
exploring this guy who does computer hacking wirelessly. Cool, but like
That can
once again,
hack
the
all
dialogue.
droids from your cell.
Force, you hit it. The dialogue. You want in on our breakout? It's that forced dialogue. Where
It's
like,
so
did a
bad,
child
yeah.
Write this?
Killer.
But how quickly
like-
she's able to break out of her cell?
Well, that's
And
the
I guess
reason they
they're
had to leave her
implying
there
that
because
she's-
they had to show that she's self-sufficient. even
Oh
though she
my
can't use
God.
the Force yet. But
They-
we all know.
how
We all
they're
know.
showing
last,
that she's weak in the force. She's weak in the force because she can't even call her pip over. But the fact that she gets her pip and she's immediately able to like shock open, and I get the idea is like they wouldn't have this equipment anyways, so let's make our cells, not shock proof. But everything about that scene is very like
That pip is
You
what a
would think that-
MacGuffin.
Yeah, you would think that the
It's a
Republic
multi-tool
would,
for whatever they want it
Oh
for.
my god, dude.
you'd think they would be able to like build a better prisoner support ship. You know what I mean?
It was nice that gravity
Like, I would've-
stayed sufficient on the ship while it was crashing,
I
and
would've
that
bought it
the
more.
android and the droid was
Whoa,
slid back
Dude,
to her.
one thing
but-
that
but-
bugged me,
I
like,
would-
physics. You know when the escape pods were popping out? Apparently, the force of the escape pod leaving the ship made the ship just like spin. Did you notice that?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't notice that. But
Like,
let
What
me
is
ask
the
this:
physics behind that?
why does a prison ship full manned by droids have escape pods? That feels like it's just for prisoner escapes. Because you don't care about a
No,
droid. You can just make a new droid.
Yeah, but also too, like, I would have bought it more.
Probably
Had
OSHA.
a long tongue guy attacked the security guard first, was able to get his hand key, and then they like hacked the droids manually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, it's just
Hack
it's
everybody
so...
and break out.
And then
You know, they
there's
break out, they hack the droids. You know, not just hey, I've been on this ship for several hours. Let's now wirelessly hack the droids to stop the ship.
Now that the main character is here.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
What are we gonna do about this
Yeah.
face hugger guy? I mean, they literally have a face hugger on this ship, and then
I mean,
she
they already ripped off
zaps it
Dune.
off, and it starts floating away like a butterfly, and then just the worst CGI of all time. $180 million. Where did it go? It wasn't this cast I've never heard of. It wasn't Carrie Ann Moss who's alive for 5 minutes. It's not like you hired Trinity for 8 episodes and it cost you the whole budget. Where
Do you think?
is this budget? Where is this money?
Do y'all think that the master is really Carrie Ann Moss?
No.
Okay. Is that
No.
just stupid? I mean,
No,
it's
no,
gotta
no,
be-
it's not stupid. I like the idea, but we know she's dead. I saw, spoiler alert, not spoiler alert, but theory alert, new rock stars popped up in my YouTube algorithm. I was playing with my daughter, so I couldn't change it. So, not that I don't like new rock star, I just don't show my patriotism, I don't show them my patronage after the whole COVID debacle and them getting rid of all the fun people on New Rock Stars. Anyway, I still love Eric Voss. He was talking about how it might be. Give me a second here to skip ahead 10 seconds on the podcast. It might be Master Soul himself as the dark side user, but I don't think that's the case. I think this is a character we haven't seen in live action before. What do you guys think? This
100%, because they consistently do that in these shows for Disney. Where
mm-hmm.
they heavily imply something that would have a logical A to B to C,
Mm-hmm.
and like, no, you're all wrong. It was Q.
And then we're gonna make a spin-off for Q, a prequel, a sequel, a sidequel, or somehow we're gonna milk
Don't give them
Q.
ideas.
We're gonna no.
So the
Actually,
ship-
I
the
do.
ship-
I don't
Well,
you no.
it seems-
Don't you want a Snoke origin story? Wouldn't you like just I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe an hour,
Moving
maybe
on.
three. No, comment
when the
down
ship
below.
crashes-
Wouldn't you like to know more
ship-
about Snoke? Go on. Anyway, Matt, I want to highlight this real
That's what
fast.
Mandalorian's gonna do.
Robbie's
When the
dad.
ship crashes, that's when they reveal that she was a twin sister, right? It's like halfway through the episode. They couldn't even get like the end of the episode.
No, dude, they revealed it
It's too quick.
instantly. Unless the
Like,
Acolyte.
halfway through.
No, unless the Acolyte
it was-
is spelled with two
It
O's.
was towards the end.
No. Let me finish.
right.
Unless the Acolyte was spelled with two O's, you kind of figured it out at the title sequence, like 3 or 4
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
into it. Because it just starts with two O's, and then it's like, oh, or we're not on Tatooine, so it's not two sons. But like the pieces start to like fall in place right now. You're like, hey, what was that podcast talking about? Zeitgeist Zealots? Didn't they mention something about
Well, I think
twins?
because I had not watched any trailers, so like when it got to OSHA after like May had killed Trinity, you're just like, okay, is this a flashback before she became evil? And
I
then we
was a
find
little
out, okay,
confused
And then-
okay,
mhm.
okay, so it's in the present day. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, is she pretending to be
'Cause
good?
Then she's like younger,
and then I was kind of just like, and then I saw like halfway through the show because I cared so little at this point. I
So,
saw like the sister. I was like,
two-
okay, twin. at that
2
point.
weeks ago, George Lucas was at the Cannes or Cannes Film Festival, depending on your English or French
I think you
pronunciation.
meant like Comic Con.
No, that'd be great. No, he was at the Cannes Film Festival, and he said that no one understood Star Wars like he did. Which, you know, after that white slavers comment, he can just go fuck himself. But let me ask you this: he might be right about the names, dude. Yord Thander and Tassiloa, The dumbest names I've ever heard in my entire life. Jord Fander.
Those children?
No, that's the Jedi Knight that we met. Jord Fander, played by Charlie.
Okay.
Jord, yeah, played by Charlie Burnett. And then he's got a Padawan named Tassie Loa, the furry character I was telling you about before, who I think is going to be the number one Halloween
joined the away
costume.
team for some reason. Even though like his job is to train her, I guess she's just gonna have to like train herself.
But here's my thing. They emphasize OSHA's backstory so freaking many times. Like at first they hint at it and it's beautiful, like, you know, that fire, that, you know, that stupid fire that we just talked about that you see on the ship in outer space without oxygen, right? That's going off because, you know, so we can have this little backstory about her village burning down. And we get glimpses of good writing where I was able to piece together that she survived a tragic event. You know, we find out her family died, the whole village died. That's a fire, right? 100%. But then no, that's not enough. They fucking just keep telling you, like, dude, like Disney Plus, like Disney on Endgame, where they told you 14 times how time travel worked. This is what they told her backstory, like 5 times in a row. And it was so frustrating by the end because it was just like belittling, like to the point where she at one point was running through a cave chasing after her evil twin stepsister or her twin sister, and she ran through a cave.
The lightsaber is a flashlight.
Yeah, well, no, not quite there. Yes, there. But she ran through the forest, and we see like her and her sister, like. We see we won't see the village fire, but we see the fire and we assume it's the village and stuff. And then immediately afterwards, right, they cut to an exposition dump where a Padawan just straight up asks Master Soul, like, what's up with OSHA? And then Master Soul just tells them the exact thing we just fucking saw, right? So like they did, to Matt's point, they did show and not tell. But then they were like, uh-oh, our audience is so fucking stupid, we have to tell them 3 more fucking times to make sure that they understand by the end of episode 1 that this girl has a tragic backstory. And it...
Just in case you didn't get it yet.
Yeah, dude, it's insulting, and this comes out at 9 p.m., so I know it's not a show for kids, right? This isn't Clone Wars.
Don't even get me started about that. I think you saw my text yesterday. I was so ready. I'd gotten home from work. I'm like, hey, we're covering this today. So I just want to watch it because I hear it comes out June 4th.
Yes.
Go log into Disney. And two things happen. Right? 2 things happen. One is I find out this comes out at 9 o'clock at night. Screw that. That is really crappy because I have stuff to do.
Step number 1.
But B, my son is suckered in because he sees Inside Out 2. So we click on it. I'm like, yeah, cool. Maybe that's actually streaming. And it's the trailer. But they had a big advertisement. It says Inside Out 2. And then you click on Inside Out 2, and it's like, watch the trailer. And so, of course, now my son's disappointed. So now I can't watch Star Wars with my son. And now he's disappointed because he wanted to see Inside Out 2.
Dude, no, it's such horseshit. No, I 100% agree. It's such horseshit, dude. And they must have received major backlash from the very beginning because, like, I was up, taking care of my newborn at 12. So I went on Disney Plus to watch this new Acolyte show. And a big old banner says the Acolyte premieres, on July 4th or whatever, or sorry, June 4th. And then you click on it, and then it's like, takes you to that page, and it's like, it comes out at 9 p.m. that night. And you're like, what the fuck? It's just, it's so annoying.
Just say the 5th if you're doing that.
Yeah, or say the 4th at 9 p.m. Don't just be like, look, if every streaming show ever has come out at midnight, California time, which I think is bullshit, right? We should start a whole new hashtag that East Coast Matters. Hashtag East Coast Matters. Start releasing the streaming shit at midnight Eastern Standard Time, okay? Look, this coming out at midnight in California where you live, that's cool for you. But dude, we're on the East Coast. New York, East Coast, all of us. The entire America is on the East Coast, at least the cool ones. On the East Coast, dude, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Dude, no one can fucking watch this shit except the full-time streamers. So, fans, we need to ride together. Hashtag East Coast, EST matters. Maybe EST time matters. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys like this 9 p.m. release slot? Are you guys ready to watch the next
I mean,
episode
I'm
at
probably
9
gonna
p.m.
I'm probably not
tomorrow
gonna stay up.
or next week?
I'll probably. I mean, it's nice. I don't really care when it comes out.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
you're not editing this
well, it seems
podcast.
like Wednesday. It seems like Wednesdays is usually when they release stuff on Disney Plus, right? I think like what X-Men was on Wednesdays, and
Mm-hmm.
so was Ahsoka, and usually Mandalorian and all that stuff. So
Well,
I mean, if they release it Tuesday night, that's even better because although I've like really no enthusiasm watching more episodes. But did we cover everything in episode 1, or do you want to like move on to the second one?
Let's talk about the evil guy with voice modulator. Talking about the Acolyte, and then we can move on to episode 2. Yes, maybe
No,
I think
we can just do one. We'll just do one for today, but I will have to say the ending of episode 1, and we can get into this really quick. And I think we all are on the same page. His little soliloquy there about how an acolyte does not do this, does not do this, does not attack with a weapon, and yet she killed. With a throwing knife.
She said,
and people
not just
online are defending this, saying that well, she defeated her by getting her to protect someone.
Cool.
So she attacks her.
But she
still steal
her with a weapon.
It's still steal.
And it's just common sense, you know. And they're just like, well, you're nitpicking, and it's like, I'm really not. It's like they could have just written it better.
Bad writing.
You know, like you don't attack. You know, they could have said something like, you know, you don't attack.
And see,
through
this is the
Jedi,
problem.
Through the body.
This is the problem,
the heart, or something like that. I don't know.
This is
But
the problem.
Don't attack them with a weapon. You need a weapon to kill them. Right?
This is the problem with DEI, right? This woke ass. He sounds like a white guy. This woke ass CEO over here, the CEO of the dark side over here is just fed the BlackRock woke mind virus. He's been told that women can do anything a man can do, and he's like, no, little lady who weighs 110 pounds soaking wet, go ahead and attack these 4 Jedi, including a fucking Wookiee, and don't use weapons because you don't need weapons. You're an acolyte, and acolytes don't use weapons to kill Jedi. And it's like, bro, you have sipped the Kool-Aid, and yes, she's like, she has not.
No.
He has sipped the Kool-Aid, but she's always using weapons. You know what I'm saying,
also,
Matt?
not only that, but how like acolyte will not attack, because if you attack a Jedi, blah 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 blah, or a Jedi will not attack, and how she always goes up to these Jedi and she's like, attack me. And then they don't, and then she attacks them anyway.
Dude, is that the dumbest, most anime fucking line of all time? She's like, hello, addresses the name, takes off a garment, and she's like, come at me with all of your strength, all of your power, I will defeat you. And it's like, dude, what are you, fucking 13-year-old Naruto? Like, who walks into a battle like that?
I did think that was a little cringy, right?
It's so cringe. And she does it for the other Jedi too. The second Jedi in the second episode, which go ahead and subscribe because we'll talk about it next week.
But that's the point I was going to raise. She's like, attack me. And then he's in a Jedi trance. And she attacks him anyways.
And does absolutely,
In this force bubble.
He's not just in the Jedi trance. He's in the Barash vow, which we will break down next week. Pretty cool.
She popped that bubble by saying, I'll forgive you if you kill yourself. Okay, we'll get there.
Let's talk about white guilt next week. Hey, before we wrap up, I just want to point out,
Jedi can read minds. Do you think he could tell if she was being sincere or not? And like he takes the poison. He's like, haha, I don't forgive you. He's like, no.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that little soliloquy. Are those the rules she's supposed to be following, and she doesn't, or are they trying to establish this lore?
There are no rules.
You know, and that's where it gets very confusing.
It's like I'm pretty much like I've stopped thinking the writers can utilize logic. They're just gonna worm their way through this, make up whatever shit they need to get through. How many episodes is this? Please just be 6.
8. It's 8.
Oh my gosh.
No. You haven't. All right, you haven't heard.
Like 6 because like 4 Jedi. Which is 2 more Jedi. She's got.
Can I? You haven't heard the spoilers. Can I spoil just a little bit for you? Just a little dose of episode 3.
Go ahead.
Forrest, Matt, are you guys okay with this? This is gonna trigger you a lot. Okay, guys.
Well,
don't ruin the show I hate.
No, don't do that.
Apparently, from what I hear, episode 3 is going to do something that really pisses people off.
Yes.
Or it's
Right.
Okay.
No. Before we even get there.
Okay.
Before we even get there, let's talk about Wookiee Jedi. All right, because there are only no, and now one is in this show. So prior to this, in all of Star Wars canon, there's only been 9 Wookiee Jedi, because it is so uncommon for a Wookiee to have the Jedi, like
midichlorians.
They're fighters, midichlorians, exactly. So the fact that they're like, hey, people like Wookiees. What if we made a Wookiee a Jedi? It feels kind of cheap, and it feels kind of like going against the Star Wars fandom.
It doesn't feel cheap. It looks cheap. How does Chewbacca from the 70s and 80s, how does his costume look better? This guy looked like fucking Bigfoot. This guy was not a Wookiee. This was a Bigfoot at the end of this episode.
It is so freaking rare for there to be a Wookiee Jedi, and it just so happens that in this storyline, that on this obscure planet,
well, I'm fine with
we had a Wookiee Jedi watching over. You're like, no, it doesn't work this way.
It can.
Anyway, here's a
spoilers for
episode 3. Here's a nitpick. Well, here's a nitpick. It's definitely a nitpick. I mean, despite like all the legitimate critiques I have against this show, it's like why the scavengers were speaking a foreign language when I think they usually speak English in the Star Wars universe. Usually humanoids.
Well, those scavengers at the end. Are you talking about the guys who run into the Wookiee?
Why are there subtitles here? Like,
they were speaking Huttonese. They were Hutt pirates.
So who might get a cameo from Hutt? Also, this is 100 years in the past. We never really discussed the chronology. Is Palpatine alive at this time? Is Yoda alive at this time?
Palpatine is born 83
Yoda
BBY.
is alive because Yoda is several thousand years old.
So here's my take. Yoda is alive, but they didn't want to fucking ruin Yoda's mystery, right? What little respect we have of Yoda left, they didn't want to ruin it, and so we have a different green character that vagrant character, or the
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor.
Her vagrant, whatever her name is. What were you saying, Matt?
I
want to tell you the little spoiler.
Spoiler free.
I want to spoil a little bit of episode 3. All right, so go ahead and skip. I'll put a time code here because I love you guys. Probably just skip a minute because. Look, I'm going to spoil it, and then they're going to react. And I don't know how long their reaction is going to be, but it's pretty bad. So maybe skip ahead 2 minutes, okay? Anyway, the Force is female. Have you heard about this, guys? Have you heard about them talking about the Force is female? What if I told you the Force isn't just female? It's lesbian gay. What if I told you the Force was made from 2 women having an immaculate conception? 2 women, immaculate conception, created the twins, which create the Force.
That's where the Force was made.
And that's where the Force was made.
I mean,
so
the Force is not part of the universe. It
doesn't affect me.
It's not always not to be opposed to the idea here, but to me,
not to be opposed to 2 women scissoring. Not us. Not us.
Whatever. Cool.
Yes.
The idea is that
yes.
The Force is part of the universe. It always has been. It always is.
Yeah.
There is no creation of the Force.
It's midichlorians.
One with nature.
It's not PFAS. They're not forever chemicals from fucking 3M or DuPont.
Midichlorians are the idea that you're...
Or is this a theory?
No. So midichlorians
are
one's ability to access the Force.
We'll have to watch it.
So a person who has higher midichlorian counts has better access to the Force, which is one being with the universe. It's Buddhism. It's Om. It's the sound of the universe, and attuning oneself to the sound of the universe. And now all of a sudden, it's just been created. And if that is true, then Disney needs to fuck off.
What? This is true.
Because look, if it's 2 women, it can't be the Big Bang. It can't be the Big Bang. That's not how the universe was created. It's not how scissoring works. Comment down below. What do you think? Was that a good joke?
Just a theory, or they're actually about to reveal?
This is a spoiler for what they're about to do.
They can do what they want. They could have Yoda be a.
Actually, I want to get your opinions on this. I was thinking.
Then my question.
So
the follow-up question was.
Okay.
So when did this happen? so when did this happen?
I
Like,
said
is this
this-
only a few hundred years in the past? Because then I call bullshit, because Jedi have been around for a long period of time. And then you have the Dathomir witches who've been able to access the Force for a long period of time. Like, when is Disney going to say, oh, 300 years ago, this relationship happened, and then the Force was created? Which
Well,
totally
Star Wars
that makes
logic-
no sense to the
Books,
lore.
books aren't canon anymore, so
Well, not the extended. Some books, new books are right.
Yeah,
There's
the
some
books-
High Republic, which is what this is based off
I
of.
don't know.
So this is supposed to
So I
be
will say we're like
100.
They can do whatever they
This is
want.
supposed to be 100 years before the Phantom Menace, right? So somewhere between 119 BBY and 133 BBY. Maybe.
Wow, that is crazy. With a quick side note, though, because I hated how Disney has now made it Legends and the expanded universe doesn't exist anymore. And the new books have all sucked, except for one, which I finished reading last week. 100% go out and read Bloodline.
Okay.
It is a great story about Princess Leia, and essentially, I think I was telling this the last podcast.
No.
It fills the plot hole of why is Princess Leia forming another rebellion.
All right, that's kind of cool.
And it tells you why. It's a really great read. It's only like 400 pages, so like you could finish it in like 2 or 3 days.
That's not bad. Yeah.
And it's actually one of those things that sucks you in. You're like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
I said.
recommend that. Every other book that has been released by Disney, and I wanted to take a picture of it. On the back of the book, it literally has this huge Disney logo, and I almost like put it down in disgust because of that. But
Yuck.
every other book by Disney has sucked so far, except for this one book.
Well, that's why I was saying no, because like, there's nothing better than a great book, right? And then from a great book, you can get an adaptation onto the big or small screen, but you can't if the actress is dead, right? So that's the only reason I was saying no for. I wasn't bummed that the only good book was because it was a Princess Leia book. I was bummed because we never be able to turn that into a proper adaptation. But no. So Robbie, what you were saying? The Forces.
Bloodline by Claudia Gray, female
Okay.
writer, great book. So anyways, Force.
Well, I didn't say anything.
Claudia, great. So that's pretty good. I'm really excited to talk about the next episode with you guys. Oh no, first off, we gotta talk about this. We mentioned it in our text ahead of time. I'm so glad that I wasn't like just the lone weirdo who noticed this. But Forrest pointed out that early in the episode, a Jedi Master has the specific line that not a Jedi Master, sorry, our main antagonist, Mai says that a Jedi only pulls out their weapon when they're ready to kill. And then what happens 20 minutes later, Forrest? All right, I'll say it. And then 20 minutes later, we see them using a lightsaber
flashlight.
as a flashlight. Like, what is happening? Like, who wrote
It was
this?
a torch. It was a torch.
So I want to say, first off,
Wash my hands, sorry.
it would have been really fun as an homage because we've all grown up. We've all been boys. We've all grown up. Not a single one of us hasn't used a flashlight as a lightsaber at some point in our prepubescent or early teen lives. So every time they use a lightsaber as a flashlight, I give them a member berry. I'm like, all right, yes, this is fun. I'll take this. But for them to specifically state, not tell, but say that Jedis only draw their weapons or their lightsabers when they're ready to kill, could just completely ruin that member berry for me. The writing is so bad, and the show's just so boring. That is its cardinal sin. This is a boring show.
The real world application of any proper gun owner only points his weapon at somebody unless he's willing, if he's willing to kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the police point their guns at people all the time. So yeah, I guess that's the application.
Well, all right. So let's talk. Do you want to talk about their no bail policy here? In episode. Oh no, that's episode 2 when this guy.
Yeah, we'll go over that next week. Yeah,
we'll go over it next weekend. Spoiler alert! Tune in. Go ahead and subscribe because I want to bitch about how this guy killed the local apothecary, took over his position, snitched on his buddy, and then Master Soul's like, well, if you just cooperate, we'll let you off with a warning. And it's like, dude, what is this
yeah.
no cash bail bullshit? He made a poison that killed a master Jedi. He killed the apothecary who lived there, and then you're just gonna let him go
Let you
free.
off.
And then what does he do? He immediately goes back to May and commits more crimes. Like,
It kind of reminds me, like, well, the police will lie to people to like get them to confess, like, all the time.
look, that's some bullshit.
like-
That's some bullshit we'll talk about on another podcast if you
It
want
happens.
to, right? How
Um,
it's illegal for you to lie to the police, but the police can lie to you. The Fifth Amendment is your best
Well-
fucking friend. Use it.
Yeah.
Use it. When he asks
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
do you know how
that.
fast you were going? Use it. Also,
Hey.
don't use it when I ask you the following. Like and subscribe. Don't use your Fifth Amendment. Fucking let your voice be heard then. Like and subscribe, guys. We really appreciate it. Comment down below. What were you saying, Matt?
Great video you should look up on YouTube, and I'll send it out. Never talk to a police officer. Never.
Never. Don't open the door. Guys, you don't understand how thin your doors are.
Only talk
You
to
can
them to say
speak
you wanna talk to your
loudly
lawyer.
you can speak loudly through your door. What were we saying, Forrest?
Only talk to a police officer to tell them you want to see your lawyer or you want
Exactly.
a lawyer.
You want a lawyer? Yeah.
All right.
And only schmucks pay for lawyers, right? Get that free get that free legal source. No, I'm kidding. Probably ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, the overworked public defense.
Yeah, exactly. The public defender with 150 trials that week. Yeah, probably ChatGPT is your best bet right there.
Hey, Saul. Better call Saul. What's her name? She was awesome. You never know. You might end up with her.
Oh yeah, she was like doing pro bono work too.
Is she hot?
Yeah,
Because then she was doing pro bono work. I don't know. I've never seen Better Call
the
Saul.
last joke of the podcast. unless
There we
Roger has
go.
Something.
Plug the socials.
All right, guys,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are on YouTube. That's Zeitgeist Zealous. We've got a lot of fun videos. Our video where we react to male loneliness with Scott Galloway. Fantastic. That's been doing pretty
Our
well.
non-guest Scott Galloway.
Yeah, That's why we put him in the thumbnail. And then on top of that, we have a great review, pre-review of what we think the Doctor Who series will turn out to be. I've been roasted in the comment section there, as you can tell from the beginning of this podcast. My opinion has completely flipped. As much as like I stand in solidarity with my brothers, but as an independent free thinker, I'm going to do my own research, aka before I come online and I fucking say that Doctor Who sucks, I'm going to watch Doctor Who. And I watched Doctor Who and God, it's so campy.
Right.
It's
Major,
so
you
fun.
Convinced me to watch it. I don't want to watch it, but you convinced me. I'll check out the episode.
Look, I'll tell you this, right? They went super hard to the DEI paint on the first couple of episodes. Forget that, right? That Maestro, right? When you've got a trans evil bad guy facing a gay doctor, and I forgot and with the lesbian sister. Yeah, you're very confused. If you skip to episodes 4 and 5, 4 is creepy. It's a scary good episode. That's a pun. And there's no doctor. There's 1% doctor involved. And then in this episode, episode 5, Dot and Bubble, there's like barely any of them. So yes, start there and then work your way back into the lore. Because I gotta tell you what, as much as people have been hating on Doctor Who at our Instagram, that's at Zeitgeist Zealots, I gotta tell you what, yeah, I've been enjoying it.
And full disclosure for the people who disliked a certain short of ours, I will call Major out for this. I do feel using the phrase DEI is the latest conservative dog whistle. I hate that idea that DEI. I highly support DEI. And when you say DEI this, it kind of implies that I could say it this way without actually saying what it is.
I'll tell you this right now. Harvard's getting rid of DEI. Matt, you are slow to the trade. The DEI trade
No.
Even liberals are leaving.
Oh God, it's pulled out.
Oh,
It's pulled
yes.
out of
No.
the station?
I'm just saying. Using the phrase DEI
Oh, yeah.
is a new way to say something while meaning another thing.
No.
I can see how some people.
I
would misconstrue that
actually,
as a dog
Matt,
whistle,
you're
and I
100%
hate
right.
using. I hate using the
You are
phrase
right.
DEI I highly support DEI with my job where I work. We started DEI committee, and it has done nothing but benefit us. And so using DEI in that negative context, and I hate to call you out,
No, that's fine.
does kind of harm that. And I do kind of get irked when I hear that phrase.
Oh,
but this goes to
no,
that commenter. I can see why you can misconstrue certain things. It's not what we mean. Sometimes people just need to be educated on, hey, things can be hurtful without being hurtful. But we love you all.
Yeah, we
and
do.
I hate to say it, as a podcast, we support everything.
Yeah, we do.
We're critical of everything.
Well, we love everyone. We don't, we support everything over the age of 18. We're very libertarian over the age of 18. We will
look over the shoulder at the poster of somebody's
Batman, right? Yeah. We're all about vigilante justice here in the open border podcast. No, look at my.
Didn't you watch Blue Beetle? Batman's apparently
Cactus America. No, I can't watch Blue Beetle yet because we haven't said to our fans that we're gonna review it. Maybe one day when it's a slow week, we'll actually sit down and all watch Blue Beetle.
So we'll do like we did with Morbius last year and do live reaction.
That'll be so much fun.
To Blue Beetle.
Yeah, actually, that's on our YouTube channel. If you want to watch our or Man Web.
Yeah, Max. It's on Max. Maybe we can or not Max. Yeah, Blue Beetle. Yeah, it's on Max. We can maybe do a group.
But Man Web's on Netflix, so we can just use the plugin from before.
100%. We have to do Madam Web.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it, and that's the whole point of this podcast is to make you watch things I don't want to see, and it is horrible.
It's conspiracy from the beginning.
We're doing Madam Web first.
Absolutely. I just want to say that Matt's 100% right. That this podcast is nothing but love. We love everyone. And that's all we're striving for. It's just equality, right? It's a bummer that in 2022.
So I think what you're trying to say is it stinks that you think you're trying to phrase it one way.
No,
realizing that it could be misconstrued. So
I'm for actual equality, right? I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that in a pro meritocracy way. I'm saying fund the hell out of education. Fucking make everyone smart, and then like I said on the podcast a couple weeks ago, the color of your skin doesn't make you a better or worse CEO. That's not how anything works in life. What we need is just educate everyone, and then let people rise to the top. Let this turd called the Acolyte float to the top because it's the best. Not
it's
because
a good story
of DEI.
Dude, I'm all for AI algorithmic job placement in our society.
No,
right? Futurama tips over here.
Everyone takes your
DNA.
Your proficiency examination. You know, we all did this. We all took the tests for the military thing, and we all had our proficiencies. I had like really high proficiency in like electrical, but then really low in like some other shit. I mean, like,
we did take that test.
I could have been an electrician. Right out the fucking bat. I could have been an electrician. And I probably would have been happy and a lot wealthier than I am now.
So, I guess
I had to go on this epic journey of self-discovery that wasted years and years of my life when I could have just been placed as a worker in the machine at 18 years old.
Yeah. Give me that factory job.
Just kidding, by the way.
I'm not. Give me that factory job, bro. Give me, dude. Michael Jackson's dad, or Jermaine Jackson, whoever is asshole Jackson, right? Allegedly worked at a factory and was able to raise 9 kids. Not just 9 kids, but was able to create the Fantastic Five. Michael fucking Jackson, Janet Jackson, that other guy on American Idol who lost a lot of weight. Dude, that was all on, a factory job? And now when I drive through my home city, all the factories are empty and or converted into cool lofts for Gen Z and millennials. Like, yeah.
Well, okay,
bring back the factory jobs.
Like this, like, you know, back in the day when you're like, you know, you'd pick the basketball squads, you know, everyone line up, you'd be like, I pick you. Like, imagine that, but on the macro level in the job world, right?
That's meritocracy. That's all I want, right?
There's some element of meritocracy. There's some element of nepotism. There's some element of things. Yeah. But what if instead of that whole like that person, you know, the one person like picking and choosing, what if that decision wasn't in their hands? What if
It was AI.
There were measurable metrics where you could actually like and talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Talk about equity. Holy
No,
crap!
bro.
If you had like mathematical metrics
You're
to measure
talking-
somebody's like proficiencies and abilities,
You're
all of a sudden you don't have to look at the color of skin. All you have to you're looking at somebody's inside of their brain.
Oh, I mean, Starbucks already does this. Starbucks employs, I think it's PLTR, Planeteer or Palantir. There you go. The the all-seeing eye from Lord of the Rings, Palantir. Starbucks already employs that, right? So they have Palantir on their security cameras, if I'm not mistaken, which monitors the productivity levels of each of their employees. Who's serving coffee, who's just sitting back texting while everyone's pouring hot foam and lattes. This is, I would say, an issue. I understand what you're saying, but that is a scary close resemblance to what I would call AI socialism. Right? Socialism is you get the job based on your skills and abilities and get your needs based on your skills and abilities. And that just sounds like AI is choosing what your skills and abilities are and choosing what your needs are. So I understand the call for that, but I would be careful with that because that is a slippery slope into. Or are GPT overlords?
It would enable objectivity, but it would not disable corruption.
That's the problem, right? Hey, I was thinking about this the other day. Dude, who knew America was full of so many activists? I had no idea. Dude, can someone tell me in the comment section below how to start a protest? Because Nancy Pelosi has been killing it in the stock market lately with all this insider trading. Just imagine if we had the activism of America actually fundamentally attack actual problems in America. Dude,
Wait, what's Pelosi's year like year-to-date gain?
I don't know the year-to-date gains off the top of my head, but right before Nvidia just
So this whole part's gonna get cut out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious about Nancy Pelosi's stock.
Can we do our ending really?
Yeah,
quick?
let's do the outro. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Find us on YouTube at Zeitgeist Zealots, where you're probably watching now, right? But we're also on Instagram at Zeitgeist Zealots and on X and TikTok at Z Zealots Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Comment down below. What did you think about the first episode of The Acolyte? How do you feel about the ex-assistant of Harvey effing Weinstein? How do you feel about her executive producing and directing her own show? Let me know down below what you think. We really appreciate you guys listening.
Yep. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
I'm Robbie. Oh,
I'm Tip.
were you muted, Matt? I saw you move, but didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything either. Is he doing it on purpose? Yeah, he is, probably.
Matt.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
He said it. You have to like now. That's a law. I just killed Baby Groot, so now you definitely have to say it. We love you guys. We'll see you next week for episode 2 and maybe episode 3, depending on the spoilers. Bye, guys.